Everybody, thanks for coming down. I don't have a lot to say. I think you probably expect that. Negotiations are expected to resume this afternoon, probably in a couple of hours. Obviously, the players' view has always been that we ought to keep negotiating until we find a way to get an agreement. And you sort of stay at it day by day. So it's very good to be getting back to the table. And we hope that this time it produces more progress than we have seen in the past, and we can figure out a way to make an agreement and to get the game back on the ice as soon as possible. The issues the players are concerned about obviously remain the same, don't bear a lot of repetition, but players haven't seen any need to go backwards given the history of the last negotiations and given the level of revenue increase since then, and the player contracting rights are very important to them, obviously. So that's basically where we sit, and there's not a lot more I can tell you at this point.
Don, the league's asked sort of not to disclose where the talks are. Do you think that creates a scenario where maybe they can be more constructive than they've been? Or?
Oh, I don't know. That's a request that they made, and we're happy to honor it. Beyond that, I really don't have any comment about it.
Is the make whole switch that they've talked about, the owners looking after maybe guaranteeing it from their side, considered a huge step?
Well, it depends on what that appears to be. Obviously, to the extent that players can achieve the not going backwards, that would be significant, sure. It doesn't end the matter. There are still other things that are important, but it certainly would matter in and of itself.
What did Saturday's talk between your brother and Bill just do in terms of, I guess, providing some traction? There's
not a lot to say, but sometimes you need to get together in a forum and discuss where you are and figure out logistically how to go forward. And we think it was a productive discussion in that regard, and that's really all I want to say about it.
Do you need to see their make-whole mechanism or provision on paper, or do you know what it is already?
Well, obviously, before we have any agreement, both sides have to see everything on paper and make sure that they all understand it right. But that's about all I can say about it at this stage. I don't want to prejudge or indicate that I have any particular impressions or expectations. That's what the meetings are for.
What's the meeting, I guess, about today? Is it mostly core economic issues? Is that where it's at?
It's about the issues which divide us, and that's about all I can say.
Don, is it going to be full teams on both sides negotiating today, on you and Gary?
Well, there'll be a lot of people from both sides around. Exactly who will be in which meeting or which series of meetings, I don't think we know yet.
But you expect Gary to be there?
I assume so, but I don't know for sure. But I assume so.
The tone in the media changed a little bit before. It was finger pointing. Now, when Steve said that he agreed with Bill in what happened during the weekend, it was maybe, should we see it from the outside as a good sign?
I'm not going to comment on signs. I'm not going to prognosticate. I'm not going to predict. It's not something which, in my experience, is a productive thing to do. So we'll just wait.
It's too early to even sense whether you kind of see that door opening in terms
now, I'm not going to comment on that one way or another. We just have to go see. You have to go do it. This is a work your way through it matter, and you got to go work your way through it.
Do you expect this to be a long bargaining session before you go in it, or do you?
I don't know how long it'll be. We're hopeful that we'll start bargaining and we'll continue bargaining, until we find a way to make a deal. And sometimes that goes in rather long sessions with short breaks, and sometimes you take a few hours or a half a day or a day to work on things before you come back together. I don't know which it'll be.
You don't know when you may meet after today then? You don't know if tomorrow was on the agenda or anything?
Well, we certainly hope we'll be continuing to meet on a regular basis. I hope they do too. I'm just not making any predictions.
Whenever you are done today, Don, will you meet with the press?
I don't know. I don't know what the time will be, and I don't know what the circumstances will be. Nothing I can say about that. Obviously, my first obligation is to report back to the players.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.